What if an AI could actually learn the hidden language of the financial markets? I mean, really understand it. Today, we're diving into a new kind of technology that isn't just crunching numbers, it's trying to master the market's grammar. Let's get into it. So, right away, here's the big idea you gotta wrap your head around. The company we're looking at, Fractal AI, is making a really bold claim. They're saying they've built the financial version of Chat GPT. You know how it predicts the next word in a sentence? Well, their AI is built to predict the next move in the market. All right, let's really unpack that analogy because it's a powerful one. Thinking about market prediction this way isn't just a new trick. It suggests a totally fundamental shift in how you even approach the problem. And that is a huge leap. See, the old way, traditional quant strategies, was all about hunting for statistical correlations in the data. This new way? It's searching for something much, much deeper, that hidden grammar that secretly runs the whole show. Now, this whole quest to find a hidden language in the market, well, it isn't entirely new. To really get what Fractal AI is doing today, we've got to take a step back and look at the pioneers who first had this wild dream of decoding the market's grammar. So let's just put a clear definition on this thing we're calling market grammar. Think of it like the invisible rules of a language. Just like you instinctively know how to form a sentence without thinking about it. The idea here is that markets have their own set of repeatable patterns and signals. They're just buried in mountains of noise. The real challenge has always been finding a tool powerful enough to actually read them. This timeline really puts it all into perspective, doesn't it? The journey starts way back, decades ago, with absolute legends like Peter Brown and Robert Mercer at Renaissance. They were famous for applying ideas from speech recognition to financial data. Then you have the AI boom, kicked off by pioneers like Geoffrey Hinton. And now today, Fractal AI is basically smashing those two worlds together. You can pretty much draw a straight line from one to the other. On one side, you've got the godfathers of quant trading, who used language science to become myths on Wall Street. And on the other, you have the founders of Fractal AI, who were actually funded by the same Singaporean board that gave early money to AI giants. They're literally the next generation taking up this grand challenge. Okay, so you might be thinking, if people have been trying to crack this code for decades, what's so different now? Why is this suddenly possible when so many others have tried and struggled? Well, it really boils down to a perfect storm of three things hitting all at once. First, just the insane amount of computing power we have now. You can thank companies like NVIDIA for that. Second, the mind-blowing breakthroughs in the AI models themselves. And third, Fractal AI's own secret sauce, their new methods for pulling the signal out of the noise. And this is why it matters so much right now. The big argument is that the old quant strategies, they're just not cutting it anymore in today's wild, volatile markets. The old rulebook is kind of obsolete, and that creates this massive opening for a new kind of technology that can actually make sense of all the chaos. All right, that's the theory. It sounds great on paper, but let's get to the question that really matters. Does it actually work? Well, the numbers they're reporting, they tell a pretty compelling story. It all starts with this tiny number, 0.16%. That's the daily return they target. I know, it seems like nothing, right? But the whole strategy is built on finding this small, repeatable edge day after day after day. But here's where the magic happens. You take that tiny daily edge and you let the power of compounding do its thing for a year, and it turns into an incredible 66% return. And that number is no accident. It's meant to echo the kind of legendary performance that made Renaissance technologies famous in the first place. And, big money is starting to pay very close attention. The company just locked in a $20 million valuation in a round led by a top-tier firm, Vertex Ventures. So this isn't some science project in a garage. It's a real company with serious financial backing. And that credibility goes way beyond just the VCs. They're backed by huge players like Morningside Ventures and Singapore's National Science and Technology Board. But get this, and this might be the most important part. Their tech has been validated by global banking giants. We're talking UBS, BNP Paribas, HSBC. That is a massive stamp of approval. But the vision here, the ambition, it's so much bigger than just serving elite hedge funds and big banks. The grand plan is to take this institutional-grade predictive power and get it into the hands of, well, everyone. And look at the team they've put together to make it happen. You've got top engineers from Meta and Amazon, a money manager from Societe Generale, and even the former chief investment officer of a $200 billion hedge fund. That is a serious blend of Silicon Valley tech smarts and Wall Street financial muscle.
So how on earth do you reach billions of people? You don't build a new app from scratch. You go where the people already are. Their strategy is to integrate with the biggest super apps in the world, Revolut, Telegram, and the ultimate goal, the massive meta ecosystem. The scale they're aiming for is just staggering.
But in the end, the founders talk about their mission in much broader, almost philosophical terms. For them, it's not really about financial returns. They say their ultimate goal is to use this technology to democratize hope and happiness, to turn these incredibly sophisticated tools into something that can empower billions of regular people. And that leaves us with one last, really fascinating thought to chew on. We started this whole thing talking about a financial grammar, but if an AI can truly master the complex, chaotic, and often irrational language of the markets, what other complex systems could it learn to decode? The possibilities, they go way, way beyond our bank accounts.